Hi, I'm Chris Bullock. My wife Carolyn and I are owners of the Wandering Bull LLC. We're one of the country's largest Native American craft suppliers. We sell a wide range of products, including craft materials, contemporary art, and antiques. My parents started the business in 1969 when we were kids, running around at powwows. And more than 50 years later, our family business is still going strong. Today we're going to talk about porcupine roaches. We're going to go from little round roaches all the way to very modern contemporary dance roaches that are 18 inches long. Let's start off in the beginning. This guy is a little eastern woodlands flat roach. The people up in the east here were wearing these 1700s to the early 1800s. And basically the hole in the center is designed to fit your braid. Slide your braid through and hold it in place. It would sit in the back of the head. So this is a flat roach. And this is actually what we're going to work on making today. So it's a round roach. The hair is probably 6-7 inches high. It is on a yarn base. And you can see the white row, and that's the porky hair. And the red row is dyed deer hair. So this is an average round roach. And a couple other examples of roaches that I have here. This roach is a turkey beard roach. And to show you, it has a hair base instead of a yarn base. So this is all tied deer hair. It has a little bone ring in the center to keep that space to slide your braid in. And if you look to the outside, see the black? That's the turkey beard tied. And then the outer row is a row of red deer hair. Open this guy up. So now you can see the inside of that roach with the red deer hair and the little bone ring in the center. With this guy, if you look on the inside, you'll just see the yarn base. So they refer to this as a hair-based roach, turkey beard. So the turkeys underneath the chin of the male is a little beard. And this is that hair. This roach probably has 10 or 12 turkey beards in it. When the turkeys fight, they want to bite each other's beard. So over time, they'll bite that hair short just from fighting back and forth. And an old strong guy, he's going to have a long beard. So that's fairly long hair for a turkey beard roach. And he's put the ruler on it. He's like 3 inches long. And they refer to this as a teardrop style just due to the shape of it. It's not round. It has this little drop. This is another example of a hair-based roach, porcupine hair. And this porcupine hair is what we refer to as blonde. So in sorting your porcupine hair, you'll come across a few strands of this blonde hair. And just put it aside, and occasionally you'll come up with a good pile of porcupine hair that is light in color that we would refer to as blonde. I'll turn it over so you can see it. And this, again, yarn is a hair base. You can see all the deer hair tied. The 2 rows of light color there are the porcupine hair. And the outer row of this, being dark green, is horsehair dyed green. So very unusual, being blonde hair. It's highly collectible because there's not a lot of it. Majority of the porcupine hair, as you'll see in this roach, is white at the bottom, and then you get this section here of dark black almost, and then the very tips have that blonde look to it. So to come across this much blonde porcupine hair is unusual. My brother made this roach, and it was a gift to me. So we discussed the smaller roaches. Now let's jump into this. This is 18 inches long. It has a yarn base, inside row of deer hair, white deer hair, and the porky here. I'll flip it over. And you can see it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of porcupine here in the front only. Designed to make it nice and full. And it's a white deer here, and the color in the front is dyed deer here. And I put it in that pattern, very modern. This color combination probably started in late 1970s, early 80s, where they were adding that rainbow color deer here to the front of their roaches. I made this roach probably 30, 40 plus years ago. It has seen many, many powwows. It's been well used. I've taken care of it. This section right here, it's missing some of that deer here. You know, it's just been used so well over time. You know, that's going to happen. I would rather see this fall apart from overuse than sit in a drawer and have the bugs eat it with no use. So this roach here in the center, I made a couple of years ago. It has a yarn base, an inner row of deer here, and you can see the inside being multicolored as well. Extra work, extra time. And he is 20 inches long, or 22 inches long. I believe he's 22 inches long. So it hangs way down the back. And we'll flip it over. And you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of extremely long porcupine here. And it is 6. It is roughly 8.5 inches to the top. And when you sort your hair, you want to lose like these long guys. And you start in the front, work to the left, work to the right. But you want them all. So the quality of the roach is the length of the hair, how well it's separated, if these ends are all roughly the same. So a nice quality roach, super long hair. And once again, variety of colors coming down the roach. So it gets you an idea of what's out there for roaches. So we're going to work on this yarn base is 2 inches across, 1 row of porcupine here, and 1 row of deer here. This round roach, reenactors wear these. They're same thing, designed to sit in the back of your head. Slide the roach pin through. It's a warrior's thing. The women did not wear porcupine roaches. So with all that said, let's get started. Basically going to show you on a large version so it'll be easy to see what's going on. I'm going to show you on this loom. I'm using a piece of deer skin just for the example so I can show you how we're going to tie the hair, and then I'd revert back to how I'd normally do it. So when you buy porcupine hair, this is an ounce of porcupine hair. It's on the shorter side because I'm making this style of roach. I don't need the super long hair that was required to make the full 22-inch roach. So this hair averages 6-7 inches. So basically, I'm going to, on a loom, tie this horizontal string, and this is what we're going to tie the hair with. So basically, I'm going to fold the hair over the loom, like so. Take this lace, I'm going to wrap it around that bundle of hair, and pull So that is referred to as a half hitch. Now I'm going to do another one. I'm going to wrap over the top, pull the tail through the hole, and slide this guy down to the end. It looks like a mess and it's a big example, but I just want you to see the technique in which to tie it. That's majority of the work on tying a roach. So here's my porcupine here again. I'm going to fold it over, take my tie, go around the bundle of hair basically, leave this little hole, take my lace through the hole, slide my hair over to the left, and tie that half hitch. So now I have that tied. I'm going to take the same lace. Once again, I'm going to go over the top, pull it through the hole, and slide that down. So this is extremely exaggerated just to get the idea of folding the hair and doing that half hitch. I'm going to fold the hair, give it a pinch, take my lace, wrap around the bundle of hair and come through that hole, slide my hair to the left, pull that half hitch tight. Once again, now I'm going to go back over and pull that half hitch tight. Extremely exaggerated. I just wanted to show that technique. Now we'll get rid of this and go right into the real stuff. So I showed you previously how to do it with the extreme example, the big leather lace. Now I'm using imitation sinew, multi-ply, so it's a 4-ply imitation sinew, securing it on each end of the loom. And I'm going to take my single-ply sinew and tie a knot. And I want to work with about this much, it's 30 inches or so. So I'm going to take my single-ply sinew, tie a knot. I like working from my left to my right, and no longer than that. I'm going to take, so out of this ounce of hair, I'm going to make the 2-inch roach that we're talking about, I'm probably required, I don't know, 1/4 of an ounce of hair. So I'm going to select this guy. So there's my white tips. This end is sticking into the animal. This end is above. So basically when that animal's walking around, it's like a cat. You know, these little bit of hairs, that animal can detect where he is, what he's bumping into. Their eyesight is very poor. And so they rely on their hair, their guard hair, to tell them where they're going, what they're bumping into. So I'm going to slide my hair into a cup. I'm going to tap all of the ends to the bottom. And see, I got some curly cues. I want to get rid of these bent hairs. So I'm going to basically pull off of the side for this to tie. So I'm going to grab, and I probably want like 15 or 20 strands of hair. So I got kind of a mess. I'm going to push all the ends together. Pretty good. I'm going to get rid of some of those. I'm going to get rid of a few more. So that's a comfortable amount. It's in my right hand. I have it pinched. So what I'm going to do is, with my right hand, I'm going to put it up to the thread. With my left hand, I'm going to fold it over. I folded that hair over. I'm going to take my tie. I'm going to go underneath this thread, my horizontal thread. I'm going to go underneath it, around my bundle of hair, through that hole. I'm going to slide it to the left. Pull that guy tight. And now I'm going to go over the top, through that hole and pull it. So that's our first knot. And you can see I folded over about 1/2 inch of hair. And that knot, that hair is fairly secured. So if you're doing a roach, a hair-based roach, you have an awful lot of knots to tie. So we'll continue. I'm going to shake those hairs to the bottom, pull from the side. I want to get roughly about 15 hairs. The bottoms are all pretty much even. Put it up to the horizontal thread with my left thumb, fold it over, give it a pinch. With the tie thread, I'm going to go underneath the horizontal, in the hole, pull that tight. One more tie, over the top, through the hole, and pull it to the left. Porcupine hair is very expensive. Runs anywhere from $45 to $65 an ounce. You don't want to waste it. So once again, right hand, putting it up to the horizontal thread, my left thumb, I'm folding that over, pinching it, taking my tie thread, going underneath the horizontal, around the bundle of hair, pulling that tight, sliding it to my left. Doing one more, I'm going to go over the top, through the hole, and cinch it tight. Going to push all my ends even. After a while of pulling the hair out of the cup for so long, I can basically determine if the bundle size is correct in my fingers. So right hand, left hand, fold that hair down, wrap around, pull it tight. And I want to basically keep all the white tips the same. I don't want to have one flipped upside down. And you want to make sure they're not as tight so those hairs stay in place and don't slip out over time. So that's tying the porcupine hair. So going back to this roach, because we're making this 2-inch round roach today. Tied all my porky hair, and at this point here you see the white hair turns to red. So I basically will tie all 7.5 inches of porcupine hair, and then I'm going to go into the red deer hair. So to do the deer hair, it all comes on the tail. This is dyed red. And I've used, obviously, you can see the sides I've cut off of it. I'm going to snip about the same amount. I haven't counted them, to be honest with you. I don't know how many strands of deer hair are in this bundle. The same technique. Fold it over. Take my tie. Go underneath the horizontal thread. Through the hole. And slide it to the left. One more tie. I'm going to go over the top, through the hole, and pull it tight. The deer hair is a little more tricky. Deer hair is much shorter. So what I'm going to do is, with my left hand, grab the hair, take the scissors in my right, and roughly get what I feel comfortable is the proper amount of hair, and cut it as close to this is the rawhide of the tail. This is the skin of the deer that's attached to. So I'm going to snip it as close to that as I can. Take my bundle, And I've tied many roaches, so I can do all this in my left hand. I can put it up to that, fold it, use my right hand to make the knot while my left hand continues to hold that here. Slide it to the left, do that 1/2 hitch, that second knot, I go over and back through the hole. So I'll show you. You see all my ends? That's what you'll end up with. I've been tying a lot of here, so they're fairly consistent. Yours will vary up and down. So you need 7.5 inches of porcupine here and another 8 inches of deer here. So what I've done is pre-tied that. This is what I'll end up with, or you'll end up with as well. And we're going to apply it to the yarn base. Basically, the yarn base, as you can see, is circular with the hole in the center. And I've got about 5 rows of braided yarn. So here's my braid, and those are the 3 bundles. So in this, each bundle I have, it's a 3-ply. So I have 9 pieces of yarn, 3 in each bundle for my braid, because I want it about that thick. I'll give you a measurement on that. And he's a little less than 1/2 inch wide. Good consistency. If you look at these guys, there's my yarn base all sewn together, and I have multi-colors in that base as well. So for this project, we're just going to do the single black base. I'm going to start off with that 10-0 beading needle with that single-ply imitation sinew. Tie a knot. So to start with, I tied a knot on the braid so it wouldn't unravel on me before I got to sew it into the base. So I'm going to secure my thread that's going to sew this round into that base, into that yarn. I'm going to wrap around the end of it, just one wrap, so it will not unravel because I'm going to cut that knot off. So I've wrapped around it once, go through it again. I'm going to snip that knot off. So this is that knot right there on the beginning inside. I'm going to take this, go around. I'm happy with that size hole. Take my needle and go through the braid. I'm going to pull that snug. So you get the idea. I'm going to go from outside to the inside. And about every 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, I'm going to make a stitch. Pull it tight. You can use any color yarn you want. The thicker the yarn, the better. In reality, it gives you a nice firm braid. And you need 20 inches of braided yarn to make the 2-inch circle. So you keep going around till you achieve this 2-inch. Now that you have your 2-inch done, with that single-ply imitation sinew, I'm going to work with a piece, 25 inches long. So I have my thread. I'm going to go inside the center of that base and poke it out the side. Now, I'm going to start with that first knot that was strung on my loom on my left-hand side. So I'm gonna, right now, so I wanna basically catch the knot that I tied the porcupine here with. So I'm gonna slide the needle through the knot. Pull that guy tight. And I'm gonna go over one bundle of hair. And once again, I'm gonna slide up so that needle catches the knot. If I didn't catch the knot, then the hair would want to slide off of this tack down lace because there's nothing to prevent it from sliding out. So pull that guy tight. There's my first tack. And so I'm going to skip. I'm going to go every other bundle of hair. My needle comes out. Once again, you want to catch that knot on the inside. And go in through the side of that yarn. We're going in through the side of the base. And I'm popping out in the bottom. And you'll never see it once you have it all constructed. And I'm roughly sending my needle back in the same location. But I want it to move to the right a little bit. Needle pops out, slide it back in, catch that bundle of hair. And I like holding things with my left hand and using my right hand to actually do that knot or do whatever I'm doing. The left hand is a good, it holds it in place. You basically get the general idea. There's no sense in me tying this whole thing for another half hour. You get the general idea of what we're doing. So I'm going to keep wrapping this around and sewing each bundle of hair. And it's going to go round and round. So there's the seam. So now the red deer hair will be showing. So that's basically 7.5 inches of porcupine hair would get to that point. And I've tied 8 inches of deer hair. And I would apply the deer hair all the way around to the end. It's the same technique as tying the porcupine hair as you'll tie in the deer hair. The deer hair, you're going through the knot as well, and then you'll sew through the porcupine hair. So this is what you're going to achieve. If you look really close, and see it did such a nice job of tying the deer hair on, you can see every other knot. I can show you how I would put it in my hair. Basically, I have a pile of feathers and a little bone ring as well. You don't need the bone ring, but just a big pile of feathers. So I'm going to stick in my braid, bundle of feathers. And that hole that we put in the porcupine roach, in the base, I'm going to slide it down on top of that bundle of feathers. And the feathers are just decoration. They're all turkey feathers, dyed red. This is a roach pin. And I'm going to basically slide it through the porcupine here and into my braid of my hair and out the other side. So that is basically how that roach is worn. The big roaches would sit flat on your head on the top. You would use a different roach and roach pin. If you had long hair, which obviously I'm missing a little bit right here, you would slide the braid of your hair through the center of the base, and you would have a different roach spreader that would sit in the opening in the top, and 2 feathers sticking up. That's how you make a roach. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching our videos. You can order supplies and learn more about Native American crafts by visiting our website, wanderingbull.com. On our Facebook and Instagram pages, you'll find weekly specials, a schedule of upcoming events, and interesting historical facts about Native American culture. We not only sell supplies, we use them ourselves, as you've seen in these videos. And if you ever need help with an order or a project, you can always give us a call at 1-800-430-2855. We'd love to hear from you.